Alright, everybody, it's FluxAtomic here, and I'm here to talk about the movie I just got out of the theater and saw, Suicide Squad. I was not entirely sold on this movie before I went in, and there's a few reasons for that, mainly because the trailers didn't sell me on the concept, and I thought the movie was simply too overcrowded, right? And, I'm going to be talking about some spoilers in this review, I've decided, because I feel like in order to really inform the audience, I have to talk in spoilers. So if you don't want to progress any further than that, you should probably stop, because I'm not going to hold back on what I think is important. I want people to go see this movie though, and I think that's the gist of it. Other than that, I can say that I thought this movie was meh. I'm not the biggest DC fan, I'm not the biggest Marvel fan, I'm not like a huge comic book fan, for example. So, I know a decent amount about the lore and the history and the origin stories and things like that from doing some research beforehand from going to see the movie. And I've kept up and I've seen Batman vs Superman, I've seen all this stuff, and I think that this movie is definitely on the tier of Batman vs Superman. Clearly different movies, but I think this will be getting a mixed reaction. Maybe it's just me though. I haven't seen any other reviews yet. The movie hasn't even come out yet, so I'm just going to keep going right into what I thought. I thought the soundtrack was really good in this movie. David Ayer definitely has a good choice for music, or at least somebody that works for him does. The color palette is similar to BVS. It looks really nice. It's not as vibrant as I thought it was going to be. But yeah, I'll start off with one of the things that really made me mad about this movie, and it was Will Smith as Deadshot. And there's two sides of the coin, right? I think Deadshot was probably my second favorite character in the entire movie. I think he did everything he needed to do. I think that he was the funniest character probably. But I also think that he took the entire spotlight of the movie. I don't think that was the original plan when they made this movie. I think that, originally they had somebody else casted for Deadshot, if I'm not mistaken. But then Will Smith said he wanted to do it. So, you kind of end up with a Will Smith focused movie. He's not going to sign up for a project and take a back seat. And that's kind of what I expected, and that's really what we got. That being said, it's really a good thing that it was Deadshot the movie, because one of my least favorite things about this movie, and I'm really sorry because I was really excited, was Harley Quinn. I don't even want to say it, but I'm going to say it. I hated Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. I couldn't stand any single line that she said. And it really sucks to say it because I was really looking forward to it. I know there's a ton of Harley Quinn fans out there and the Joker fans. And I was looking forward to the Joker too, and I'll touch on that later. But Harley Quinn was definitely just a disappointment. And, maybe I'm being too nitpicky here, but, maybe I just don't understand the character, right? A lot of the lines that she had in the movie were just kind of corny. I don't know if that's something that the character inherently is. I don't know if she says a lot of cheesy stuff a lot, but to me it really felt like it was Margot Robbie acting like what the fans wanted to see of Harley Quinn. So I think you get a lot of classics, phrases like puddin' like 50 times, and just stuff like that. I'm crazy, get it? Haha. We're the bad guys. I think that was in the trailer. It's what we do. So, there really wasn't much to the character. Especially depth. It's hard to get really in depth with a character that's being portrayed as basically brainless. In the end of the movie, she's not totally brainless. And I'll save that. When you see the movie, you'll see what I mean. But it was easy to see what her plan was the entire time. A lot of the things in the movie didn't make sense. And part of her role, I want to stick to her, right? She just struck me as very annoying. Just very annoying. I couldn't believe it. And we'll get into the Joker now. The Joker was good, but This ended up being more of a Joker movie than I thought it was going to be. I actually thought that we were going to get a few scenes of the Joker and that's it. But it actually, I think what I was talking about earlier when it became the Deadshot movie, I think it was originally supposed to be the Harley Quinn and the Joker movie, right? Like everyone wanted. But I think after I'm not so sure they're so high on Harley Quinn's, like, as the character, the performance and everything. But they did greenlight her own movie with a female Suicide Squad. I'll call it that. It's probably not just a Suicide Squad 2. But so they're going to keep rolling with her. But the Joker, he definitely has moments of craziness, has some good stuff. Spoilers, they do show the Joker and Harley Quinn in their classic costumes. And a big spoiler, not really, but they show the Joker and Harley Quinn in kind of like a dream sequence as being married with children without any makeup on or chalk skin, whatever that acid pool they dive into is. None of that. So you basically just see Jared Leto standing there without makeup on, being as beautiful as he is, right? So I'll stay away from the Joker from that. He comes in, he messes some shit up, right? And then he leaves, like a lot. That's every single time you see the Joker. Comes in, wrecks shit, leaves. Comes in, wrecks shit, leaves. Batman's performance, I don't want to say performance, his role in the movie was just, it was fine. It was exactly what it needed to be. You know, we still like Ben Affleck as Batman, right? There was nothing wrong with that. Another little spoiler I'll slip in right here is that there is a post-credit scene, or maybe it's a mid-credit scene. I didn't stay for the entire credits. I stayed till I got to the first scene because I knew there'd be one, right? It's Bruce Wayne meeting up with, what is the character's name? Amanda Waller's character. Yeah, Amanda Waller. That's the character name. And they meet up, and I guess Bruce has asked for files on Aquaman, and she gives it to him, and that's kind of the setup for Justice League, I suppose. But other than that, there's not that much Batman. The story basically shows Batman, like, locking up all the Suicide Squad. And honestly, I think you could have skipped a lot of the origin story of all the Suicide Squad members. Like, some of them were extremely long, some of them were extremely short. One of the shorter ones in the beginning ended up being my favorite character, which is Pyro. I think that's his name. I don't think they actually ever call him Pyro in this movie. That's why I'm having such a hard time remembering. The guy with the tattoos and the fire, obviously his name is Pyro, right? He was my favorite character in the movie. And I think the movie would have suffered without him, because I think he had the best character arc in the entire thing. And it's really a shame that he wasn't given a great introduction. His introduction was touched on towards the end, right? But I don't know. It's still like, with all these characters they added in, it felt to me like it was pointless other than the fact just to add them to the DC Extended Universe, the lore, all that stuff. But they literally had so many characters added to this movie that Slipknot, they kill him off in the very first battle. They say, hey, you know what, you could be useful, but you're dead. We just wanted to sell some tickets, right? And get people in the seats. That's how I looked at it anyway. And then, you know, they had the Boomerang guy. And the Boomerang guy was there, obviously, just to have one scene where he throws the camera to be useful. And then the camera dies. So, that was his role. I almost forgot something that I wanted to splice into this clip right here. I wanted to make it clear that this movie takes place after Batman vs. Superman. Part of the movie that you see at the beginning with Batman is taking place before Batman vs. Superman, where he locks up all the squad members before the events of that movie. I'm not entirely sure how this timeline makes sense, and I'm not entirely sure it has to, but I think it was something I really picked out and noticed and didn't like. Another thing I didn't like about this movie that I also forgot to mention earlier on was Katana and her subtitles. I said I was going to be a little nitpicky in the beginning of this review. So this is one of the nitpicks. If your character has a line in another language, subtitle it. Sometimes Katana would say things and it would not be subtitled. It just would be missing. And sometimes they would be longer lines. Usually they're pretty short. And if they're unimportant, honestly, don't have her say them. It's just for atmosphere then. Another thing on sound design, a lot of the lines Deadshot had just sounded like professionally voice recorded soundbite clips. And I thought it was extremely out of place and awful. And also, along voices and sound, the Gator guy, what is his name? Killer Croc. I couldn't understand any of the words he said. And that is beautiful. Just beautiful. So I think that about wraps it up for me. I'd appreciate it if you would give some feedback on Suicide Squad or this review in the comments on this video, or you can tweet me at FluxAtomic. Once this movie comes out for everyone to see, I hope we can all have a good conversation about it. I hope to do more reviews soon on new movies, old movies, good movies, bad movies, and meh movies like I think Suicide Squad was. Remember, this is all my opinion and I respect yours as well. And don't forget, at the end of this movie, Cara Delevingne looks great after her mud mask spa treatment. That scene was hilarious. I'm looking forward to hearing the reaction from the community to this movie, and I'm really, really, truly sorry if Harley Quinn doesn't meet their standards, because she surely didn't meet mine. Have a good day, everybody.